Hey, today we want to do a little different video than normal. Taking a break from the training rules and all that, and talk about what it's like to be a football official. And kind of if you're interested in getting started, kind of think there's something maybe you want to get into. This is kind of the video for you. I know this is a little different. May seem odd being on a football official training website, but we do have a lot of traffic from people who are not officials. So I kind of want to do something to maybe kind of draw them in if they're interested in it. And also, if you are already an official and you watch the channel regularly, first of all, thank you. Second of all, maybe pass this along to someone you know who may be thinking about getting into officiating. And hopefully this will draw them in. So the first thing we'll talk about is what you walking into an official association for the first time, what is expected out of you. And I put this one first because I know for me, I was the first bullet point. I thought when I first signed up, this is something I can knock out on a Friday night, and that's all there is to it. Few hours every week. I didn't think about the meetings and the rule book studying, and then doing JV games, doing middle school games, doing rec games, doing all these other different things leading up to the Friday night. And I also didn't think that, well, you probably need to be trained too. I thought I could just walk out the first year and be on the field on a Friday night, and that was it. So it's not always going to be like that. We have in my association have instances where we have had officials their first year be on the field, but it's really not common at all. And in those instances, it was kind of we didn't have anyone. They had been progressing along well. We thought they could handle maybe a low level game. So it does happen, but it's not common at all. You also need to attend, if your local association has meetings, you need to attend them. This is where you really kind of pick other officials' brains. Obviously, you go over the rules, you go over some stuff that may have happened the previous night. And then, of course, you just meet everyone else in the association and try to build a relationship, build a bond for guys you're going to be working with on a Thursday night, a Friday night, Saturday, whenever. And you also need to put in the extra effort. Quizzes, rule book, look at Huddle if your association has Huddle. Watch training videos. It doesn't necessarily have to be the ones on our channel. There's plenty of channels out there. Matt Sumstein in Hawaii, he has a great channel with great videos. There's one from Alabama. They have a lot of good stuff. Colorado has a video that has a lot of good stuff. A lot of good training videos out there. Watch those videos. Watch Huddle. Watch your own games if you can. Put in this extra effort. Go out, find quizzes. Association doesn't put them out. Find some. There's plenty of quizzes online. We have some on our website. We post that you can look at. Really, really dive into the rule book. You also want to be on time at your meetings and your games. If your game starts at 5:30 on a Thursday night, don't get there at 5:30 on a Thursday night. Okay? If you don't know who you're working with, try to get there earlier and meet with them, kind of get to know them. But you definitely want to have at least a brief pregame if it's, with middle school or JV. Talk about some stuff. And just always also plan for traffic because you never know. But especially also on Friday nights, be there for pregame. Usually if our game starts at 7:30, we're trying to be there at 5:30 so we can have a good pregame. So be prompt at the games. Definitely be prompt at the meetings. And fulfill administrative duties. These are just the little things. Like if association asks you they need your W-9, get your W-9 in on time. If they ask you to update your availability, which is the next kind of bullet point, make sure you do it. Just do all the little things that you need to do. And with your availability, your assigner, I know we have an online assigning system in our association. You can go in and you can update your availability there. So when our assigners assigning games, he knows, okay, this is blocked out. He can't work that day. I want to sign him. A little trick in our association I tell our new guys is, um, the system we use, you can block it out. You can just leave it blank, which means you're available, or you can actually put that you're available. I always tell rookies in our association, or guys that just want to work, that want the snaps. When you're doing your availability, if it's a game that we're heavy on, or day we were heavy on, and you can work, like Thursdays were always heavy for JV games, I tell them, go ahead and put yourself as available. Don't just leave it blank. Put it as available. That kind of puts your name at the top when the assigner's doing the drop box. And just a little trick I try to tell them. But definitely make sure your availability is updated. And don't accept assignments you can't do. And it could be, if you're an hour away, you get off work at 5, and there's a game at 5:30, don't accept that game. If you can update your availability where you can put stuff like that in there, definitely do that. But don't accept the game. And also, certain associations, certain states have rules about if you have a relative or if you graduated recently from a school, like you can't do the game. Or if it's not in the rule or policy specifically for your state, if it just would be a conflict of interest, don't take the assignment. Like if your wife works at a high school, don't accept that game. That's just bad. Or if your kid goes to that school or whatever, don't accept that game. Also, hustle. When you're on the field and you're working, always hustle because someone's watching you. It could be another official. It could be a signer or trainer. It could be a coach, other players, spectators. Make sure you are hustling on the field. Don't walk. Don't kind of try to lollygag to a spot or something. Hustle. Definitely be professional. Be professional with the coaches. Be professional with your fellow officials, the players, everyone involved. Be professional. Because a lot of times I hear this a lot. The coaches can rant and rave. Why can't we, yell and scream back? Well, it's because we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And you also got to think, the coaches, this is their livelihood. This is how they make their living. If they have a bad season, it could be their livelihood. It could be their family's livelihood. So the stakes are a lot higher for the coaches than they are for us. This is something we do for fun. This is something that it's just kind of a side project for us. We take it seriously. We hopefully put in the extra time and effort. But at the end of the day, if we walked away from this, it's not going to cost us our livelihood like it would for these coaches. So you kind of have to think about that. I've had college coach tell me before, I see him at his worst. And it's probably true because I knew him outside of officiating. Nice guy, great guy, taking me to lunch a couple of times. But on a Saturday, I saw him at his worst. And he understood that. And like I said, it's their livelihood. Their family depends on this stuff. So keep that in mind. Be professional when you're working with these coaches. And of course with your other officials as well. Because that's how you move up. And you don't want to be that person that no one wants to work with. These should always be your priorities. The family, your work, and then football. And I say this because you don't want to hang your family high and dry while you're working Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. You want to spend the time with your kids. If it's your kid's birthday on a Friday, then don't work that Friday. Take that Friday off. I know that's hard to say with the shortage we're in, but the family's got to come first. You need to spend that time with them, the special occasions. I'm one of those that I got married during football season. My anniversary is in October. So sometimes I have to take a weekend off in October because I'm going somewhere with a wife or she wants to do something special for anniversary, so we'll do it. So take stuff like that in consideration. And definitely don't put your work in jeopardy because work is how you pay the bills. It's how you feed your family. Football is not going to feed your family. So don't risk your job to do football. Don't take off without telling your boss. Take off early and all that stuff. Don't neglect projects to do football. So always keep that in mind. So I told you if you're walking into the association for the first time, what they expect out of you. This is what you should expect from your local association or from your state. Every association in your state should strive to give you the best training in that state. And how they do it, that's up to them. There's no right or wrong way to give the best training in the state. But every association should be dedicated to giving you, the official, the best training in the state. Because no association wants to be that state or that association that people look at as like, oh, well, a crew from this association is doing the game. Well, they're not going to do very well. No association wants that reputation. So every association should strive to give the best training in the state. It could be the weekly training meetings, weekly review of videos together. I know one thing with COVID that we kind of saw is that we lost that in-person meeting, but I know a lot of the crews in our association, we do set crews every week. So, you're together with everyone the whole season. So a lot of the crews were meeting via Zoom and looking at video. And I think it's actually better than meeting as a whole association. So I'm sorry, it's pollen season in Georgia, so my sinuses are just. But anyway, we had crews that were actually meeting more regularly and able to look at film together as a crew, like their film, their games as a crew every week through Zoom. And that was better because when you're just meeting as a whole association and looking at a few plays that, hey, miss this, all right, let's not do this. That's fine and dandy, but if you can meet together as a crew and look at your specific games, I think it's a lot better. And if you're kind of that new guy or that second or third year person, you're not on a crew or you're not working regularly with the same people, find a white hat that you really like, that you think you can learn a lot from, and just ask if you can meet with their crew. Or if you can't meet with the crew, if they have Huddle or DV Sports or whatever your association uses, then watch them on your own. Really, really get in the video. Quizzes are also great. Get into that rule book. The quizzes give you situations. I like the quizzes and that give you like situations that are actually going to happen in a game or you're gonna see regularly. I don't really like the quizzes that have all these questions about what happens if the punter punts the ball and it hits a bird and then the ball bounces out of bounds but the bird lands on the field to play. Like, what happened? I don't like those. I like the quiz. They give you real world scenarios. Maybe a lot of things happening at once. But find you good quizzes, a good set of quizzes. Hit the videos. And also snaps. Video's great. Quizzes are great. You're going to get better, though, by actually having snaps. Actually being on the field, seeing live action. And it doesn't necessarily have to be varsity football on a Friday night. Middle school, JV games. I had the weirdest stuff happen in middle school and JV games. But it happens in the middle school and JV games, so then if it happens on a Friday night, we're prepared for it. We know what's going to happen. So really, really get as many snaps as you can. Rec ball, middle school, JV. Some associations, like in Georgia, our association provides the clock. So typically our first year guys are running clocks for crews. Play clock, game clock, doesn't matter. We provide the clocks in Georgia. No, some states don't do that. Some states it's the local guy, like it is in college or small college. But that's just here in Georgia. If your state does that, I would try to find like a crew that you want to work with regularly, or just tell your assigner, I want to be on a clock every Friday night so I can learn. If you're not on a clock or not on chains or something, then just like find a white hat that you like or another official that you know you can learn good stuff from, and ask if you can chart fouls for them. Just something to be involved, something to learn from them. And you want an association that every Friday night is going to put the best officials on the field, bar none. That's what you want. And then the other bullet point, I edited this from my interest interest meeting for officials from my association, so they'll contact me to volunteer to chart foul. If you're not in Georgia, don't contact me. If you are in Georgia, feel free to contact me. It's GHSA football training at gmail.com. Outside of Georgia, I can't help you. I could try to help you, but I can't help you. So sorry. Ignore that very, very, very last bullet point. But anyway, you want an association that every Friday night is going to put the best officials on the field, no matter what. Not politics, not longevity. They're the best officials. They go on the field. So how do you get more games? You got to hustle. You want to be that guy who people or other officials watch and they think, wow, this guy, he wants to learn. He wants to get better. And he's not lazy. He's not just going to walk from spot to spot. He's out there. He's hustling. He is trying to get better. You want to be that guy. You want to learn from the right vets and learn from the wrong vets. And what this means is you can learn quickly which veteran officials do the right things, do good things, and you can learn from them and emulate them. But you also have officials who don't do the right stuff. They don't do stuff that their association trains or is by the book. And you learn from them by not doing what they do. So that's how you learn from the right vets, learn from the wrong vets. And let the assigner know who you are. Introduce yourself to him. Make sure he knows who you are. Because I know when we're assigning, you got names in your head. And faces with the names helps even better. Because especially if it's Thursday and you're trying to get as many officials out there as you can, know the person, you're more likely to get games. So let the assigner know who you are. Study the mechanics and the rules. I know my kind of philosophy in training new officials is I get them great on mechanics first. Getting in the right position, moving down the field properly, squaring in, stuff like that, especially getting in the right position. I do that first, then we start really working on the rules. If I can get them in the right position, then I think we can get the rules in a timely manner. It's more important for me initially to be in the right position to make the call. And don't burn up the field. Don't be that official who is who back talks coaches, back talks other officials. Just kind of has you just don't want to be that guy. Just really kind of ornery. People don't want to work with. Coaches don't like having their games. Don't be that guy. Volunteer your time. So if you're not working on Friday night, like I said, ask to chart fouls. Do something to kind of be involved. And first of all, enjoy it and be thankful. Not to sound morbid or sappy, but you never know when your last game is going to be your last game. Things happen. You pop your knee, tear an ACL. There's COVID running around. Things happen. You never know when your last game is going to be your last game. So make sure you enjoy every minute of it. And the intangible benefits are lifelong close friends and social Friday nights. I've made a lot of friends in officiating, not just in my association, from around the state. I have friends all parts of Georgia from officiating, working the camps, working with them on district crews in the playoffs. A lot of good friends. I know some officials that their fellow officials have been pallbearers at their father's funeral, and they've been best men at their wedding. All this kind of stuff. Lifelong friends you're making when you do football. And of course, the best part of a Friday night to me is the ride to the game, the ride after the game. Maybe you go hit up Applebee's or something after a game, whatever. But that time together, the camaraderie, that is the best part of officiating to me. That's the part that I would miss the most if I were to walk away from it. I think that's why we have a lot, like in Georgia, we have a lot of guys who retire from on field, but they still do the clocks and stuff. I think a lot of them do it because they miss that camaraderie. So that's kind of the intangible benefits you get from officiating. And of course, there is upfront money, and this kind of sucks, but it is part of it. There are dues. Every association has monthly dues or yearly dues. What I would recommend if you're in an association is maybe a lower upfront cost for first year guys and girls, and then maybe take the rest out of their check at the end of the season or out of a check. Because there are expenses, as you see. You got, if you're first getting, you got to buy a uniform. Then there's the travel. A lot of states don't reimburse for travel, so there is that upfront cost for uniform and equipment. And if you have an association, I would recommend also maybe kind of do a swap meet for first year guys at the beginning of the season, where veterans kind of bring in old uniforms or stuff that they can't wear or don't use, and maybe the newer guys can kind of at least use that to get them by. Obviously, don't bring in a used whistle. That's nasty. But a used pants, shirt, flags, beanbags, whatever. And taxes, guys. Keep up with your taxes. Keep up with your mileage. Keeps up with any expenses you pay. And you can turn that in when you do your taxes as a deduction. And that also, please, please, please follow the tax laws with officiating income. If you get a 1099, turn that 1099 in to your tax people when you do your taxes. Don't get into a bind with the IRS from officiating. This is just you're not going to get rich off officiating, but there is some money involved. This is just a pay structure for Georgia. We get $125 for on-field varsity assignments. You run clocks and chains, you get $62.50. $65 for JV, $65 middle school. I average about between $2,000 and $3,000 a season, depending on your availability. My real world work schedule has gotten hectic the past couple of years, so I haven't been able to work JV as much or middle school. So I'm kind of only been doing varsity a lot, which is not ideal in the midst of a fishing shortage, but it is what it is. But I know guys that make $5,000 every year, and in my association we pay right at the end of the season. So about 2-3 weeks for Christmas, you get a nice check, which is nice because then kind of turn it over to your wife for Christmas money or buy her something nice, so she kind of forgives you for officiating. But like I said, you're not gonna get rich off of it, but maybe for some of you this is an incentive. So that is all I have for this. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found this helpful. And I hope that if you're on the fence about fishing, I hope this kind of knocks you over to the land of officiating. Like I said, again, if you're already official, you found this video helpful, please send it to people who you think may be thinking about getting into officiating. And again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. And we will see you next week with more training. Thank you.